This video is a quick sneak peek of how to run a before and after corridor study for the bicycle mode in StreetLight's platform, StreetLight InSight. Get access to granular multimodal metrics from your desktop to determine the corridor level impact of active transportation infrastructure. Go back in time or fast forward to the present to get historical data and recent data for before and after studies and for comparing across time. The multimodal platform provides insights for many modes, including bicycle and pedestrian, which allows you to look back at historical data without the need for counters, surveys, or sensors. And while normally limited to just the various roads with traffic counters, StreetLight's platform provides metrics across all road segments, including low-volume roads. The first example is a bike example in the City of Toronto. In 2020, the city implemented the Active TO program, which rolled out active transportation facilities on several corridors, including University Avenue from Bloor to King, as shown here. I've broken this corridor into several segments to better observe cycling activity at different locations along the street. One challenge of pop-up infrastructure like this is measuring the before case. Here, the city did not count bike trips on University in 2019, so it would be very difficult to measure any change in cycling after the bike lanes were added. However, with big data, we're able to go back in time, and in this analysis, we can see that we're looking at 2019 data. We're also able to see cycling activity in the entire neighborhood around the corridor. This is important because we need to know whether the changes in cycling on the corridor are simply reflective of the wider neighborhood, or were they distinct changes potentially driven by the investment made in that corridor. This is very difficult to do with traditional methods because it would require putting bike counters on hundreds of roads at the same time, which cities typically don't do. Now, bringing up my zone distribution list, I can see how many cyclists are observed on a typical day in the entire neighborhood and the number of cyclists on each road segment in 2019. I'm able to do the same analysis in 2020 and observe the difference. One nice thing about the platform is the ability to download the metrics to a CSV file, which means I can put this into Excel and generate nice charts like this, which many people are familiar with. We can see that while the neighborhood as a whole had a 22% decline in cycling, points north of College all saw an increase in cycling, and points south of College all saw a decrease in cycling. The before and after analysis is done at this point, but we can take this a little bit further to better understand why different parts of the corridor saw different changes in cycling. In this analysis, I've isolated just one of those segments of the corridor, and I'm asking the platform here to show me the destinations of cycling trips that pass through that segment. North of College, we have destinations like grocery stores, pharmacies, convenience stores, University of Toronto campus, many of which were essential businesses at the start of the pandemic. South of College, we have lots of offices, entertainment venues that were all closed early in the pandemic. Of course, we could take this analysis further by looking at trip attributes such as trip length and travel times, as well as traveler attributes such as household income, race, and trip purpose. So a couple of takeaways here. One, we're able to go back in time and observe traffic for a time period when the city was unable to do their own counts. And two, we're able to dig deeper and understand why we see the types of changes that we saw in the data.